Hey all, thank you for joining in. I guess we can get started. So, welcome all to this webinar series focused on the future of revenue operation and the impact of AI. This is a six-part series, starting from the part one, where we're going to discuss the impact of AI. But even before we jump into that, a quick reminder: Polestar Solution is a specialized partner into the fields of analytics, AI, and enterprise planning, and we work with several B2B SaaS companies. This webinar series is highly focused to B2B SaaS companies and the subscription business, where we're going to discuss about revenue operations. And to discuss that with me today, I have our Senior Vice President, Mohana Brugubanda, who's joining us from North Carolina. Hey, Mohana.
Hey, Vazan.
Hi. So, Mohana, before we get started, we'd like you to maybe quickly introduce yourself and also share what you have planned for us in the next couple of minutes and during this webinar. The stage is all yours.
Absolutely. Hey, first of all, thanks for giving the opportunity to talk about RevOps in general, set up the context for the next 5 episodes we are going to share, right? So about myself, I'm Mona Brugubanda. I'm the Senior Vice President at Polestar Solutions. I head technology and financial services industry for the Amber region. I'm based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So my experience, I've been in the technology industry for over 20 plus years now. My experience is primarily on the technology and management consulting fields, where I help customers across industries in their digital transformation, like a data strategy, AI strategy, and business transformation projects. And during that, I have exposure or cut across multiple functions, right? Helped functions, marketing, sales, customer success, operating functions. So today's discussion is based on some of my experience with my customers, and also my experience with Polestar and Polestar as an organization, how we are helping our customers in the RevOps journey. So for today's topic, right? So again, first of all, we are talking a lot of RevOps. RevOps, it's short for revenue operations. So we will establish what revenue operations mean, right? Because this term has been coined not that frequently, but maybe not that recently. Maybe it's been few years in the use, especially after the pandemic, where digital adoption has exponentially grown. And especially the B2B SaaS companies has grown exponentially. So the importance of revenue operations emerged during that. So we'll talk a little bit about what revenue operations mean and why is it important for the organizations. And also we'll touch upon how AI is transforming the whole revenue operation cycle, right? Again, in this one we will talk about at a high level on the use cases, on the AI use cases in the revenue ops journey. And our subsequent episodes will go deeper into those use cases, be it marketing, sales, or customer success use cases. So that's where we have in store for you today. So typical, right? In today's setup, every company has the typical structure is, hey, you have your, okay, need to close this window for polls. Oh, okay. So every company has a marketing division, right? Supported by marketing operations. The whole, what marketing operations we do is streamlining the marketing processes, right? Be it, hey, how can we run better campaigns? How can you get better ROI on your campaigns? How to enhance my channel efficiencies, right? Or campaign effectiveness, because now the companies reach customers in omni-channel, right? Which channel is better? What channel is working not so good? So those are the typical marketing function and the marketing operations function, right? And then we have sales, right? Where you are interacting with the customer. Once the marketing lead is qualified, the sales comes in, and their focus is solely on how to take my customer from awareness to exploration to closure, right? There are a lot of sales processes in place. The sales operations team generally help sales teams to optimize these sales processes, improving the data collection, be it CRM data, any other data on the customer, how can we better manage the data, and how can we improve sales efficiency. That's what sales operation in any organization focus on. And then comes customer success. When the customer is onboarded, how seamless is the processes, how can we improve customer retention, doing cross-sell, upsell, etc., and how can we keep our customers happy, right? Customer satisfaction surveys plays a big role in it. See, generally, typically all organizations have these functions, and I would not say complete silos, but currently there are just handshakes between a marketing to a sales to a customer success. Right. Once MQL is qualified, we can see a sales qualified lead. There is a handshake between marketing and sales. And then when a customer is closed, there is a handshake between sales and customer success. But there is no real unison or alignment between these companies together, right, or these functions together to drive the growth. That's where the need of RevOps is coming in, and that's where what RevOps is all about. Getting these revenue-related functions, primarily marketing, sales, and customer success, work in unison, right, towards a goal of driving revenue growth, improving process efficiencies, and definitely improving customer experience. So this, in a nutshell, what revenue operations is, right? Like bringing these three important revenue generation functions together so that they are all aligned and work towards the same goal of improving revenues. So we will take a step further down, right? High level, what every step means in this process, right? When you go to this, we'll take it from two levels. One is the customer buying cycle, and the other is the organization's sales cycle. Right? If you go into a customer buying cycle, right? Typically, the customer buying cycle starts from a customer doing some research, right? They have identified a pain, meaning it can be like, hey, I am not getting too many leads, or my lead conversion is low, or my customer is facing some problems. How can I solve them? There is a pain, there is a need, and then that goes into, hey, what are the options I have? Again, rationalizing the options, meaning what is the best fit for my scenarios, and then do a selection on a product or an offering, and then getting engaged with the vendor or a partner, right? In similar sense, all organizations try to align their sales process to the customer buying process, right? Again, when customer is in awareness and acknowledgement of pain process, you have marketing who engage actively with the prospects, be it through ebooks, webinars, right? Any value-add information that we can share with the customer that help make their decision, right? Once you see some interest, that's when the sales organization pitch in, do the objection handling, proving the value to the stakeholders, right? And then there will be obviously the price negotiation piece, and then you close the customer. And then the service support comes in, engage and support. So all these, right? All these in a nutshell, again, at a activity level, what RevOps does for the organizations, right? So when we talk about customer buying behaviors has changed, right? So let's explore a little bit more on that. How they have changed. How are the customer buying trends are shifting? Especially, I would say it has become like pre-pandemic versus post-pandemic kind of scenarios. Because the pandemic, right, 2020, 21, 22 has actually accelerated the need of digital adoption across all industries similar, right? Where some industries thought to be laggards in digital adoption, again, they have to reinvent themselves in a span of year, 2 years to adopt to the, maybe it may be a remote workforce, right? Maybe people only buying through digital channels, right? Even your sales was, instead of in-person meetings, they were having more Zoom calls and Teams calls. So the pandemic has driven the adoption of digital products or digital buying process exponentially. And also in line with it, you see a growth of a lot of the B2B SaaS companies exponentially growing during that phase, right? There is, again, it's no coincidence. They are very much correlated in that way. And also this has become the blurring of the lines within the functions of the customer as well, right? Now a marketing, if a marketing CMO wants to solve a problem, bring a tool, then the CDO organization gets involved because, hey, how the data is coming to solve a particular purpose, right? And then the finance comes in, like how we can solve this collectively. So that has seen a tremendous, it became a 1 person or 2 person buying committee to it became at least a 6 people steering committee process, right? And then again, all the decisions are business outcome driven rather than IT or technology driven, though they are enabled by technology, but most of the buying happens from, hey, how can you solve this business problem? Again, because of the digital channels going again more and more, the customer is, at least they are doing their research, a lot of research before even knocking the door on a partner or a vendor, right? And the final one is customer experience has become so important, especially in the SaaS companies. Again, there is a lot of competition, so your customer acquisition costs are super high. So that makes it even more important for you to retain your customer. That you can only do with a superior customer experience. So that's how it has changed. So I'll try to I'll share a quick McKinsey study, right? How the top SaaS companies has evolved during this phase and how they were able to successfully cut across these functions using RevOps and were able to drive revenues, right? So this is the stats from McKinsey study where they are saying that the successful SaaS companies were able to do at least their new business acquisition is 15% of their load, which is pretty good, right? And meaning every 100 there is a 50 new customers they are getting. That's where the sales and marketing plays a big role. And then they were able to retain their net customer, the current customers, 125%, right? That's amazing. This is where all the three functions get in unison, like both all three, sales, marketing, and customer success. While doing that, not only driving the growth, but also the third point is they were able to get more process efficiencies so they can keep their marketing and sales expenditure about 30%, which in the subsequent slides, we have some industry benchmarks we can talk about. So that as a whole, that's how the customer buying trends are changed. So that put great emphasis on all the three functions, sales, marketing, and customer success to work together. And that's how RevOps is becoming more and more valuable and important in today's business world, right? So now we will go to the topic of why revenue operations. Again, we talked about from a perspective of the sales cycle, buying cycle, and let's turn it internally a bit and see what kind of efficiencies or what kind of process efficiency, what kind of growth that an organization who adopted revenue ops can bring in. First, and again, we will break it down into 5 levers. First and foremost is definitely team alignment. So it creates a seamless customer journey from lead gen to customer retention, right? It can be, it might not to a customer, it will not be a passing of tasks to one person to another, but the experience should be very seamless. The kind of engagement that a customer sees when we are pursuing the customer as a prospect to the engagement they see while they are a customer and trying to use their product, right? That creates a seamless customer journey. And then data-driven decisions. That is, again, a lot of data analytics is going into this particular space where you provide a lot of insights into customer behavior, market trends, then the overall performance, right? Maybe this is one of the topics we'll dwell a lot more on how data analytics and AI is playing a big role in the RevOps journey. And then collaboration. When you break down the silos between departments, there's a lot of collaboration and process efficiency we can get out of the process. Customer experience, as I mentioned earlier, it would be like one big customer experience. It's the holistic experience that increases customer loyalty, customer satisfaction, then in turn increases your customer retention as well as your customer lifetime value, which is, by the way, very key metrics that all the B2B SaaS companies go by, right? What is your CLTV, which is a customer lifetime value? And the final one, right? It might not be very intuitive, but the scale. How can you support scale? Like you start with I don't know, like a 100 or 200 customers company, right? When you grow like significantly, exponentially, like a lot of B2B SaaS companies grown over the past 3-4 years, are your processes or what you have in place can they cater to this significant growth that we are seeing? That's one of the key elements that RevOps provides, because you are standardizing your processes and workflows so that when you scale rapidly, these processes can scale with the growth of the organization. So in a nutshell, again, across 5 levers: team alignment, data-driven decisions, collaboration, having an awesome customer experience, and scaling the processes with your growth. That's why we need RevOps. I'm just looking at the poll results. I think we are awesomely close at what is the median spend of a SaaS on RevOps is. So that's a great segue to the next couple of slides, which we will share, which I'm going to share here. Cool. Okay, great. So what we found, right, from the SaaS Capital survey recently is, so this is the median spend by the funding of the companies. So in this graph talks about the SaaS companies that are in the startup mode or a growth mode, where bootstrap versus equity based. And there are a lot of levers, and quite understandably, the R&D spend is definitely higher because a lot of the money goes into the product itself. But if you look at the functions that we say, these are the RevOps functions, which is your customer success, sales, and marketing. Again, understandably, equity-based backed companies, they can able to spend more on sales because they have some money in the bank. So that is definitely high. But in general, right, a lot of the participants in the poll said, if you combine these 3 functions, I would say they are around 20%, 25 to 35% is ratio, right? And then the next one we would share is, so this kind of companies where they are seeing there is revenues on these companies, they're the annual revenue rates of these companies. And if we slice it by the percentage of spend on the RevOps activities by these companies are, again, the marketing spend, if you see, it's around 8 to 10%, sales is 12 to 15%, customer success is around 8 to 10%, which is again in the range of around 30%. So if you think about it, right, if there is a certain area or areas or function which is taking 30% of the revenues which you're investing, then I'm sure that takes a tremendous importance on how to manage this function efficiently, how to standardize the processes in that, and how to scale up, right? So that's where the RevOps functions are becoming more and more important, because they take a significant portion of your revenues that get invested in your business. Okay. So now let's talk about, we talked about what is RevOps, right? Sales, marketing, and customer success coming together and working together towards goals of driving revenues, process efficiencies, and improving customer experience. And then why RevOps? Like, again, we talked about collaboration, alignment, scale, a lot of data standardization, data insights, that why RevOps. Now we can dwell into the topic of how AI is transforming RevOps. Again, looking at the poll results, right? So it's generally, I think, in alignment what we see in the market as well, like your marketing and sales activities take a lot of precedence over the customer success. But again, that's where the companies are realizing and changing that structure, and customer success and retention has become an important piece of revenue ops. I think we will cover topic of customer retention, churn analytics, etc. in episode 3 or 4. Definitely looking forward to that. Thanks, guys. Okay, so now coming back, right? We're talking about AI use cases in RevOps. So again, we take it by the phase. So if you say the awareness phase, right? This is where that if you remember the customer buying and sales cycle, that's where customers are exploring, organizations are reaching out to the customer or prospects. So a lot of use cases in AI, again, the use cases we are sharing is by no means all inclusive, but these are the very significant or key use cases that we come across working with customers across industries, right? So in awareness phase, content recommendation using Gen AI, you can personalize your messaging, right? Your messaging to your right audience so that it sounds very relevant to them, right? And then SEO optimization, right? And then a lot of emphasis on attribution, right? Because nowadays you're running a lot of digital campaigns, right? How do you know a customer has responded to this specific campaign and bought your product? How do you attribute a sale to a campaign that you run digitally, right? There's a lot of work going on in that space. And then if you go into intent and evaluation, again, personalization, I think you see a concept of personalization throughout the sales process and even after sales process as well, right? Now you know your customer well, that makes more sense to even personalize further for them. Personalization, landing pages, CRM, customer segmentation is again a very key aspect. And then optimization. I think this is one of the marketing funnel or channel optimizations we'll be covering in the next episode. And then the lead warming, like what are the things that the prospect has clicked on, what's their interest, based on their interest, we can send more relevant content to them. Again, it dwells upon the same topic of more personalization, right? Again, how can you give better intel to your sales team to improve their performance, right? If you can say, hey, this prospect is interested in these items, then the sales team can actually focus on those items instead of doing a broad brush approach, right? Cross-sell and upsell, once you have it sometimes happens during the sales process itself, right? You're talking about one business problem and it might get expanded into 3 areas. The cross-sell can happen during the sales process, but also after a customer, as a prospect has become a customer, that's when typically a cross-sell or upsell can happen, right? And then during the purchase process, how can we help our customer make a decision or a prospect make a decision, right? And then there's a lot of concept. Is a whole new topic of dynamic pricing that is across industries, primarily in the B2B SaaS space. I think one of the episodes we are going to cover in detail about that. Then you have retention. Again, as I mentioned, retention is definitely a key because in SaaS, especially in the SaaS industry, you spend a lot of money acquiring a customer. So you want to make sure that you retain that customer for a longer period of time, right? So that's where the churn analytics come in, customer lifetime value analytics come in, cross-sell and upsell opportunities come in. So at a broad brush, what we feel are the AI use cases that are key, and also what we are helping our customers in their RevOps journey. So the next slides, we are going to share a couple of use cases. One is a broader use case where, if you recognize the names, right? HubSpot and Outreach are two digital native companies, one helping on the lead gen, helping on the sales success, etc. They themselves, right, within organizations themselves, they have adopted RevOps big time, right? So in case of HubSpot, the RevOps adoption has actually increased the lead scoring capability, again, personalized customer journeys for them, right? Which has actually improved a lot of lead conversions, right? Lead conversions and how to deliver highly personalized marketing and sales messaging content to their customers. So a similar story with outreach. Again, you're using a lot of AI powered RevOps tools to streamline their sales processes. I think a lot of the when you out of sequencing, if you know about sequencing, meaning what email or what content should follow the one before, AI helps a lot in that. Like if this person has clicked on the content that I send, okay, then send this relevant content. If they have not, then send something else. So AI helps a lot in those kind of content optimization as well. So the next I want to cover, so these are the very general companies that are adopting RevOps, but one specific thing I want to share is a case study that we as Polestar implemented for our customer. This is a big SaaS company that are offering CRM tools. So we were able to implement the analytics or AI across RevOps functions for this customer. Definitely, primarily is on the lead conversion, right? Where we are able to see the patterns, right? What are the success patterns that maybe the leads are dropping off or how the leads are getting converted, right? We were able to identify with some AI techniques to how can we optimize the lead conversion, right? And again, once a customer prospect is turned into a customer, how customer is interacting with the product, right? Are they clicking on certain specific modules, or they have not bought some modules, but they keep on going there? So these are the intelligence you feed back into your customers as sales team, so that they can go back to the customer and say, hey, looks like you have interest in these areas. Let's talk about it. And there comes more cross-sell and upsell opportunities. Again, the same thing with churn prediction. You see the patterns of the usage patterns of the customer, right? Is customer logging in every day to use the product, or they have not logged in the last month or so, right? There are certain features we use to track the behavior of the customer usage patterns. Based on that, you can try to predict, hey, there is a low risk of customer churning. Hey, no, this is a high risk. Where there is a high risk of the customer, what we can do, maybe offer free tech support or offer some kind of workshops or user trainings to make the user use the product more and more, right? So using all these techniques, right, we are able to increase the lead conversion by at least 35% across sales and marketing teams. We were able to increase the customer lifetime value by doing a lot of cross-sell, upsell across products by at least 25%, right? And then the bigger, definitely statistic for us is we're able to decrease the customer churn by around 40%, right? So again, you in your organizations, right? If you look internally, all of these are very standard for any organization. So there is a lot of scope where we can fit in analytics use cases or AI. You can apply to them to drive efficiencies from each and every function. So that is the topics for today. Like we covered what RevOps is, why RevOps is important, and how AI is transforming. What I will do is in the next slide, I want to set a tone for the next episode we have, which is focused more on marketing. We will talk more about market mix modeling using digital channels. If I go to the next slide quickly, again, the evolution of market channels, right? Your traditional channels were cold calling, trade shows, events, direct mail, advertisements. You print those brochures and send it across. But these have evolved because customer behavior has evolved. Customer is doing more and more research on digital channels. So media marketing, content, ABM, video, in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, based on if you are a B2B business or a B2B C business, there are a lot of newer channels. But you cannot put money in every channel, right? Like, how do you see that which channel is giving me a greater return? right? Where if I put $1 on my social media marketing, whether on my SEO, or like what is the best outcome for me, right? Again, AI and advanced analytics can help in that space. So uh, that's a good segue into the topic, the second episode topic, where we will be covering more detail into the first half of RevOps, which is marketing. We do a deep dive into marketing, especially on how we can get a better ROI on your marketing spend, right? And how a organization can adopt like marketing mix modeling, right? We talk about a little bit about attribution modeling, I guess, in that topic as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually looking forward to the next webinar. I'm sure you are too. So again, thanks for this opportunity to share my thoughts on RevOps. And I hope you will join our next episode on September 4th on market mix modeling. Thank you.
Wonderful, Mohana. This was an insightful session. Perfect. I guess those are all the questions. And there's another question around the recording. Yes, the recording would be available to the participants after the meeting. We'll be uploading this to our website and emailing you recording as well. With that, I think we've come to the end of our session. And just a reminder, on 4th September, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we're doing the episode 2 of this series around revenue operations and how AI is changing the landscape around it. This session would be focused on the non-linear impact of market mix modeling, specifically for B2B SaaS companies. We'd love to see you guys there as well. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Mohana, for this wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank
Have
you
a
all
great
for
rest of the
joining.
day.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.